Bienvenue à tous sur notre chaîne YouTube. Alors moi c'est Kevin.
And I'm Lydia, and together we are Kevin and Lydia becoming a
family. Bienvenue à tous dans cette nouvelle vidéo. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes le 21 juillet. Je sais pas quand est-ce que vous allez voir cette vidéo, mais c'est notre 4e anniversaire de mariage, 4 ans. Ouais. Du coup, on s'est dit on va filmer, on vient d'avoir un petit pique-nique et tout. On s'est dit pourquoi on va filmer une petite vidéo vite fait. Parce qu'hier on a une conversation dans la voiture, c'était grave drôle. Et on s'est dit ce serait bien pour une vidéo YouTube. On parlait de comment le fait d'être parent impactait le couple. Et du coup, on s'est dit on va faire une vidéo un peu sur justement les choses qu'on aurait aimé savoir avant d'être parent justement. Cette vidéo n'est pas du tout préparée, là c'est vraiment impromptu, naturel, keep it real. Et du coup, là, je pense que YouTube est une meilleure plateforme qu'Instagram pour ce genre de conversation. Bien sûr, on a nos enfants avec nous avec Isaiah. On les a dit de se calmer, mais bon, on va voir comment on va pouvoir filmer la vidéo. Pour tous les nouveaux, Lydia, dis-leur qu'est-ce qu'ils doivent faire, les nouveaux. Dis-leur tous les nouveaux qui nous découvrent là, qu'est-ce qu'ils doivent faire?
Oh, I mean, come on guys, you already know the drill by now. If you haven't already, then just hit subscribe, join the fam, come along on this crazy, amazing journey with us. Like it, because if you like this kind of videos, it helps us to know that, and share it around. If you think somebody is in need of this kind of video, then just share it. Maybe
it's free.
You know, it will make their day.
There you go. Si je te pose une question, Lydia, genre, voilà, ça fait 4 ans qu'on est mariés. On aime beaucoup faire ça, genre, look back, tu vois, genre, les leçons qu'on a apprises, les cadeaux qu'on a reçus, regarde en arrière, tu vois, c'est ça le mot. 4 ans de mariage. 4 ans de mariage, Lydia.
Yeah, they're playing.
Voilà, l'exemple parfait, 4 ans de mariage maintenant. On peut plus avoir de conversation à deux. Quand les enfants dorment. Voilà, parfait. Le premier truc maintenant, 4 ans après. Avant, on pouvait parler tranquille et tout. Maintenant qu'il y a des enfants, c'est chaud d'avoir des conversations juste à deux. Il faut que les enfants dorment. Sauf que maintenant, vu que tu as 2 enfants et tu as un nouveau-né.
And with 2 different schedules.
Avec deux, ils ont sur 2 des schedules. Moi, le français là.
2 different bedtimes.
Different, like, there you go ahead.
No, it's just because like I think we had a good rhythm with Keziah, because when you only have one child, like, and she obviously was older, so she had like her sleeping schedule, all of that. She had a schedule, routine. It was like that was nailed. Whereas like Aika's still kind of unpredictable, like all over the place. That, you know, it's hard to find the time because we have 2 different schedules.
Life is different.
Yeah, 2 different bedtimes.
The first thing I would say, just life is different, and you have to, il faut accepter la différence que maintenant t'as 2 enfants. Et une chose que j'aurais aimé savoir, c'est c'est ce changement en fait. Tu peux pas te préparer à ce changement. Je sais même pas comment genre.
I think because we definitely thought like having 2 kids close in age, and that we've got this, like we're still in baby mode, but you're not. Like you have we had a toddler, and then we went back to a newborn, and there's so many things that like I can say, you just forget. You just pack it up and you just box it away. And you have to like go and find those boxes and bring it all out. But then obviously every child is different. So certain things that we would have done with Keziah don't work with Aika. They can prepare you for the unpredictability.
So if you had to talk to like your younger self, someone that doesn't have kids, what things you wanted to know before having 2 children?
2 children.
Not just 1, 2. Because I feel like 2 is different than 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know Lydia doesn't like when we'll put you on the spot like that.
No, it's not that. It's because I have too much to say, don't I? Like ramble on. So I'm just condense it. All I would say is just like really, just give yourself so much grace.
No, that you're not saying that.
You mean practical tips?
Practical, like you like.
No, I don't have practical tips.
Like,
I'm trying to find practical
that's what I'm
tips.
trying to say. Like people always like give yourself. It's good. It's a good Christian saying to say like. But I'm saying, what would you? Qu'est-ce que tu aurais voulu savoir? Qu'est-ce que tu aurais voulu savoir, genre? I don't know. Tu comprends la question que je like?
Of course, but like I don't know how a practical tip I could give because I don't really do anything practical other than take every day as it comes.
No, but like I feel like give yourself grace. Like it's not. It applies to everything. I feel like it's not specific to like having children.
Okay, let's try and think. You know what? If you have a practical tip, because I don't have anything to help you.
Une des choses que j'aurais aimé savoir, c'est que genre, le couple, ça a changé en fait la dynamique de couple. I never knew that like. You really have to work really, really hard to put you 2 first because it's hard to just be us 2. You never us 2.
Alright, there we go. I get
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, qu'est-ce que tu aurais aimé savoir to better prepare yourself? Because like if people are watching this video, maybe they're pregnant, expecting their first, or you know, not even married or whatever.
Yeah.
not to scare them off, but just I want to do a video that like if someone like Google or like type it, could be like, oh, that's helpful. Does that make sense?
It's just general though, but it's like so. You can go. I see you've got it.
Like I already said, like one thing I wish I would have known that like you have to be much more intentional about your couple. Parce que quand tu te maries, déjà il faut être intentionnel de mettre sa femme en premier. Dire que les amis, la famille, tout ça, ça passe un peu en arrière. C'est vraiment après Dieu, c'est ta femme. Déjà quand tu te maries, c'est une nouvelle transition de se dire maintenant ta priorité c'est ta femme, t'assurer que tout va bien, nanana. Maintenant avoir des enfants, déjà toi là, ta femme, she goes into like mom mode. Elle est en mode c'est sûr que l'enfant va bien. Déjà toi déjà tu passes un peu en arrière parce que like you have a newborn that's like depending on you. And then now you have 2 kids. How do you not put the husband after those 2 kids? You have to work even harder, like because you're mom of 2 now, and then as the husband, you're like, you want your wife, but then you have kids, and then you only have time together when the kids are asleep. But now, when the kids are asleep, you're exhausted. So it's like, how do you do it? But then, if you have a village around you, it's great because they help you. But even that, they help you, but not during the week because in the week you have your life. People have their life. They can help you in the weekend.
It's not even that. I think even if you had all the help in the world, you could then take that time to just chill and relax. Whereas like, have to always be. But
I feel like we have people that help us. But when they help you, you're just so tired and you just rest. That you don't have the energy to like do anything.
Yeah, for example, like we had we had help last weekend, didn't we? We did nothing because I was so exhausted that I just did nothing.
And even now, like when you have time,
and then
you don't even know what to do because you've lost the habit of just being you two and doing things together. So it's just like a.
Never mind for myself. Like I
so
don't even
it's
know
like
what that means.
we are a very strong family unit. Like for example, it's anniversary. We are all together with our kids. We love being together. There's nothing wrong with that.
So what I wanted to like say to come off of your point as well, I would say more speaking to the woman, but like obviously it's more of like a biblical standpoint. But I don't think it doesn't necessarily be biblical. I think in your marriage this is what you need. Is don't forget the hierarchy of like how it works. So for me, I place God at the top, and then my husband, and then my children, and like just to really try and keep that at the forefront of your mind. Like obviously Kevin has given me a lot of grace, and like it's not that he knows that there's a shift in the postpartum time where it's a lot for the woman, like it's a lot for his wife because obviously we're physically healing, and then we're also trying to get to know our newborn. If you're breastfeeding, which I have been, like you have to try and figuring out breastfeeding, and you're doing that all around the clock on demand. It's a lot for the woman. The hierarchy fails, but like Kevin is more like I'm going to give her grace. So I'm saying respect the hierarchy, and like this, I'm trying to say like practical things. So my point is don't forget the hierarchy. Like to always have your husband first. Even in those early days, you can just still do little things like. I don't know, like when you can like make him breakfast as well. It's like just there's little moments that I'm trying to say like don't forget that like your husband comes above your children, because my second point, but it's that you always have to remember that for your kids to be happy and for your family to work, your marriage has to be strong, your marriage has to be working, because if that's not working, there's friction in the entire family.
I agree with that, but being realistic, like you said, but how do you? It's hard.
Yeah, it is. But after a few weeks, I remember I made you breakfast like not
I'm
like
saying,
every single day, but like
not like when we're just me and you. Things drastically change.
That's what I'm saying. Like in the forefront of your mind, don't forget to do
still the little things.
Just try.
You won't be as much.
Because I'm trying to say, you gave me grace, right? Because you're not going to be like
expecting things from you.
Yeah, you're not expecting like how it used to be when I had nobody but you and I. But the point is like I'm saying, don't completely forget your husband. Okay. Don't always have like your children, because having 2 kids now, I'm like, oh, because she needs breakfast. So if I give her breakfast, then I can sit down and breastfeed. But it's like. I'm saying sometimes you can get too caught up in like the husband is just gone.
Exactly.
I'm trying to say even those little things are still like allowing your husband to see that like he's there and he matters to you. So I'm saying always keep in the forefront of your mind that it's God, your husband, and then your kids.
So that's a very good point.
And with time, like you won't always be so focused on your kids. And the newborn stage, I feel like you're trying to figure it all out. And with time, everything's a phase, so like it will all settle down. I've tried to do it more this second time around, but the first time I feel like my husband came in, just went out the window, not on purpose, but like you just become so wrapped up, so focused on your child, it takes all
like slowly. Something that Lydia said is really nice is like remember that everything is a phase, something I wish I knew, like, before being parents. Like, it's like everything you're gonna go through is a phase. So the newborn life is a phase. You being a bit in the back, you know, un peu en arrière, genre, is a phase. Make sure, like, you communicate that. Like, si ta femme te délaisse ou ton mari te délaisse, enfin, peu importe comment la dynamique dans votre couple, se rappeler que c'est juste une période, c'est pour une période de temps, c'est pas éternel, mais dans ces moments-là de communiquer, genre comment tu te ressens, comment tu sens, genre moi j'irais Lydia, par exemple, fais attention ici, genre voilà, parce que je sais que je peux pas avoir les mêmes attentes envers elle que quand on n'avait pas d'enfant, tu vois, mais il faut toujours être clair dans la communication des deux côtés, tu vois. Si Lydia elle a besoin de plus d'aide là, ou moi j'ai besoin de... Parce que quand t'allaites, par exemple, je veux pousser Lydia par exemple à tirer plus de lait, genre dire, pour qu'elle ait plus de temps, pour pas que tu vois, elle soit juste focus sur les enfants, la chose qu'on faisait pas forcément avant. Donc ailleurs, on a une conversation qui était, enfin ça va avec, je sais que ça, c'est un peu dans tous les sens, mais ça me va un peu avec ce qu'on disait hier, quand on parlait de comment le fait d'être parent affectait le couple, tu vois.
How does parenthood weigh on your marriage?
Yeah. Le mariage, franchement, par la grâce de Dieu, on a une bonne communication, genre, dès qu'il y a un problème, on arrive à résoudre le problème facilement. Le mariage, c'est top. Mais ce qu'on disait, c'est le fait d'être parent. Si tu fais pas vraiment bien le travail, ça peut vraiment nuire au couple en fait. Et je dis souvent, genre, je ne défends pas les couples qui ont de l'infidélité, les trucs comme ça. Mais parfois, je me disais, je comprenais pas avant, je me disais comment les gens ils font pour, tu sais, leur femme elle accouche, les enfants ils arrivent à faire des dingueries en fait. Et je ne justifie pas ça, mais du tout, je suis pas du tout pour l'adultère ou quoi que ce soit. Mais je peux voir comment l'ennemi dans ces moments-là, il vient et il attaque les couples en fait. Au moment où tu reçois ta plus grande bénédiction en enfant, à ce moment-là où c'est censé être le plus bon, le plus joyeux, mais l'ennemi il vient, il attaque le couple parce qu'en fait, il y a tellement de transitions, de changements qui se passent d'un coup, ça peut être brutal. Et si vous communiquez pas bien par rapport à ça, ça peut être dangereux. Et je sais que nous, on en parlait, on disait souvent genre, nous on a un peu de monde autour de nous, mais on n'a pas non plus énormément de monde autour de nous, dans le sens où des personnes à qui on fait confiance pour laisser nos enfants. Les gens n'aiment pas laisser nos enfants. Je sais pas comment vous êtes, si vous laissez vos enfants. Keza, elle est avec nous depuis qu'elle est née, elle a 2 ans et demi. Il n'y a que ma mère qui la garde. Enfin, on laisse pas nos enfants du tout. Du coup, déjà, je sais pas si vous, comment c'est pour vous, mais du coup, le fait de pas laisser ses enfants, déjà, ça a un impact. Ça fait que, les moments où tu peux être tout seul, c'est limité. C'est pas du tout négatif en mode on veut faire peur ou quoi que ce soit, c'est juste pour essayer d'être réel. C'est le fait que nous, en ayant expérimenté ça, on s'est dit, waouh, ça peut être chaud quand même, tu vois.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
I think it's also when you have children, like, quickly into your marriage. So
You think?
Yeah, no, but I'm trying to say
I feel like
that,
it'd be the same if you have children after.
No, because I'm trying to say that, like, it's interesting. Like, I feel like it can have two sides, because we obviously had kids after 1 year of we were pregnant, not actually had them. We fell pregnant practically at 1 year of marriage. So I'm saying that, like, we only had a year of marriage of, like, just us two. So on the one hand, it's kind of better because we didn't get too used to it only being too much time of just, I'm saying, like, just us living together, like, just you and I, because when we're dating,
but I think it can be harder.
But I'm saying it could be better because we didn't have that much time together, so we didn't get too used to it just being us.
Yeah.
On the flip side of somebody who's been together like 5 to 10 years before they have a kid. But also with those relationships, if it's been longer, I feel like the communication and the way they know each other and the way they can, like, work in a team, I think could be stronger. Because I want to say, having a second kid, I feel like we now work strong as a team as opposed to one kid.
I can hear what Lydia is saying, that, like, obviously us being together only 1 year, sometimes, like, you don't know each other as well. But for me, I don't necessarily agree that, like, sometimes, like, I don't know if, like, waiting before having kids is better than having a kid right after. That's my point. Yeah. Because I'm like, you can wait long, and then when you have a kid, it hit you harder because you got so used to be just you two. The same way when you're single, you've been single for so long when you're in a relationship, it's kind of hard because you used to be single, like, that single mindset. So on one hand, it can be nice because you know each other better in that sense. So I agree with that part of what you're saying. But anyway,
no, my point is that I think we work better as a team with our second child than our first child. And I think, and I'm saying because now we've been together for 4 years.
Oh, so you think it's time that make us work better as a team?
Because that's time, like, maybe with the next kid, we're going to just be like,
I think personally, I think is having kids, because the first kid we were both young, we didn't know what we were doing,
and so much.
Now we're still very young, but because we've gone through it and we had a child for 2 years.
And also, I wanted to say, you said this, that I think it's true. You're like, it's like one child, like, per person, and I think, like, with Keziah, it was like if one person had Keziah, you were like, they've got it. Whereas now it's like we have Keziah and Aika, so it's like if I'm with Keziah, he's with Aika. If he's with Aika, I'm with Keziah. So it's like, I feel like
you have no choice. Like we say in other videos, like before we could hide. We'd be like, I give you the child, I got this something else. Now you can't do it because you have 2 kids. One has to, like, step up the game. I had to step a bit more. I'm not gonna lie. I had to step a bit more.
Because I was thinking it was to do with like time as well, but it is true. I do agree.
I think it's the amount of kids.
I think it's because now we're also just like Kevin's not going to be like, you know, because they're like screaming her head off because she needs to be held whilst I'm trying to like get Kazai ready. He's not going to be like, oh.
I feel like because now because we had kids, we know, because for the first child you don't really know what you're doing.
Because I feel like we had no idea, and I think because it more fell into like the side of the maternal, the caring. Kevin's like, okay, she's got it. Whereas this time he's like, oh yeah, no, like, oh okay, I see what Lid's doing now. I've got it with you, Lid. Like I'm here. Like, to the hierarchy, how I think this time, how I'm putting my husband first, and even in the like the caring aspect, I'm not just like my kids and me. I'm like,
you hear more what I have to say.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
In how that's a very good point to help me link it back. That how to keep your husband there is like just bring him in more. You feel more united, and you're doing it like more together, which eventually will have an advantageous standpoint on your marriage because together you are succeeding.
Obviously we can't like talk about every point, the things that we wish we knew before having kids, but this conversation is an ongoing conversation. It's not like in 20 something minutes that we can touch and tell you everything. I'm sure we can do different videos out of this topic. Obviously in the comment, like if you have question, things you want to know specifically, like please do let us know, and we can obviously answer it, because we're trying to be more vulnerable and share more experiences of what has been.
So Kevin, I feel like the points were just like Kevin was saying, like to be intentional, like make sure that like your marriage is first. I was saying that like with that, the hierarchy, like for me it's like God, your husband or your wife, and then your children, and make sure that even in those moments when it's a lot, just bring your husband, bring your spouse into
communication,
into it. And then I was going to add is communication, and obviously that's just forever in your marriage. But I think in my with my first kid, I didn't communicate. I just didn't communicate very well. There were so many things that I internalized, and it just
bad communicator.
Really weighted on our marriage. And it was just, I had to speak it more. And obviously I still find it hard, because when you're in it together, it's really hard to like, I don't know, constantly be saying like the negative things. But sometimes you just, communication, you just have you have to release what's inside to your partner. Remember they love you, they want to be there for you.
They're not mind readers.
Don't fight them.
They're not mind
Don't
readers.
fight them.
Yeah. Don't fight.
fight the enemy. Don't fight them. They're not the enemy.
I hope you're listening to yourself, because when we film these videos, yes, it's for you guys, but it's mostly for us. We're preaching to ourselves. So Lydia, I hope you
that's why I said it.
take all those notes.
Don't fight you.
Don't fight me. I'm not. Fight with me against the devil. I'm not your devil.
You're my partner. My partner in crime.
Amen.
And then what was the final point?
So
we said the intentional, hierarchy, communication. Oh, and that time doesn't really like, if you're putting your marriage first, I really do believe that everything flows from it.
What do you mean by time?
Because I said the point about like, I think if you have a child quickly into marriage or not, like it can make a difference, and you're like, no, like you just think it's like with experience, making sure that our marriage stays healthy, everything flows from it. I really do believe that. Somebody could have been together 10 years before they have kids, and it could break their marriage.
So now she's agreeing with what I said. Says it proves.
Well, no, I mean,
yeah, you are though. That's what I said.
Either way, but no, I'm just trying to. My point is that
your hair looks very blonde.
Have to come first.
Your hair looks very blonde.
Right, it's the sun.
Anyway,
sun.
That's a long video, so thank you guys if you got to this point. Happy anniversary to us, and then we're gonna go back to our festivities, and happy birthday to you, happy birthday to us, happy birthday to us. All right, guys, we see you guys. Oh, she's so.
We see
you guys in the next video.
Bye.